that I lead from the front.
All right, boys. Lock in.
It's our core foundation, man. Grit.
I'm fired up. I'm fired the up, boys.
It's pumping right now. It's got my juices pumping, boys.
All right, we're back Saturday mornings with Crunch Time. I am Caleb
Welcome.
Czarnik. I'm here with Michael Gentry. Mike,
Hi.
how are we feeling on this wonderful Saturday morning?
Caleb, I'm doing great. Red Wings on a hot streak, and we have a great weekend of football. We have a lot to talk about. We got Pistons, Tigers, Tarek Skubal, your guy. Still no Alex Bregman deal, so we'll get into that as we're going. But Caleb, I'm feeling great. It's a great Saturday. Chat, welcome. Thanks for joining us. How you feeling?
I'm feeling great, but I will get ahead of this right now. Last Saturday on the show, the big fella made a prediction that Alex Bregman would be a Tiger by the following Monday. And it turns out it's been a week and no Alex Bregman. So we'll get ahead of that now. I had no sources for that. That was coming all from right here.
Yeah.
So look, I'm not a wizard. I don't know everything, but you know what, Mike?
You're pretty close to it, Caleb. You're pretty close to it.
Well, you know what? Maybe I'll call my shot again when we get to the Tigers today, because I want to be the first one to it. I don't know. I'm not sure. I want to be a fly in the room on those negotiations, because it blows my mind that a deal hasn't been done yet. I mean, it's perfect for both sides. Mike, am I wrong? Like, what the hell's going on?
Yeah, it kind of does seem like a match made in heaven. We will dive more into it. Like you said, AJ Hinch, we need a third baseman. We need a guy like Alex Bregman. You've seen, like, kind of in the past when the Tigers have gone out and acquired players like that, they've had success in this situation. You could even, like, date back to, like, kind of like an Ian Kinsler, even though at that age. But no, I don't know how it's not done yet. I wish I was a fly in the wall too. And like the things I've seen on Twitter about it, like I said, we'll get more into it later, but it seems like some things are progressing, and I don't want to say the Tigers are like his top destination, but they're at least like one of two or three. But
Absolutely.
anyways, Caleb, you had a pretty exciting week. You had some bets hitting or something you want to talk about? What? Electric start to the week, and now we're ending it. It's going to be even more electric with some football going on today. Talk to the people.
Well, winning, it's not all about winning. It's about having fun.
Yes.
With your friends, right? That's all gambling's about. It's about building camaraderie and gaining friends from gambling. And look, I love to do it. It's one of my favorite things. I love it's not all about the money. My units aren't big, whatever, so I'm not putting myself in financial ruin. I just like finding value in little places. And what I did this week, let me tell you this. First bet I made this week. And chat, you could correct me if I'm wrong. Morgan State, right? I'm at work. I'm looking at the games. There's a game at like 5. I'm like, my shift ends at 8. I'm like, all right, this might make the shift go by a little bit faster if I bet on Morgan State plus 3.5. You know what? I'm not gonna lie, I can't remember who they played, but it looked like they were playing in a high school gym. No one was there. And I'm not here to disrespect Morgan State.
Those are the best games, too. They're always electric somehow.
Bro, this game, Steve Lehman, no addiction. No addiction. Come on. Always gamble responsibly, obviously. But Morgan State. So you think that might just be one, like you lay a couple bucks on, whatever. This game, 3 overtimes. I had to sweat out 3 overtimes of Morgan State. Unbelievable. But I do want to give a shout out.
I'm trying to figure out who they played.
It was on
Wednesday?
Tuesday. They play today, I think.
Oh, it was NC Central. So I'm guessing North Carolina Central. Yep. Yes.
Yeah. NC Central.
102 to 198 W.
Bro, three overtimes. Cam Hobbs. Shout out Cam Hobbs. Absolute bucket. Dropped 40 for me. Won that bet. 2 days after, I bet on Morehead State. Funny name. So I took it. Won. They won. And I took the under, parlayed it with the under. That was awesome. yesterday. And I know Boone's in the comments somewhere. I think he mentioned it here. Merrimack, plus 3.5. Brutal. They're up 11 the entire game. It was a great bet for about 38 minutes of this game. 2 minutes left. They choke it away. I made a tweet about it. I was at work again for that. That game was at noon. It was at noon or something. Brutal. But I just wanted to get that off my chest. Hey, boys.
Hey, some W's are bigger than others, Caleb. And that one just seems like it was huge for the time being. And, everything behind that pick. You're at work. You get right off of work. You hit a bet. Double OT, like you said. It's in a high school gym. Who the fuck even knows plays for either team? You're just watching to watch at that point. But, hey, Caleb. Go on.
I was just going to say, the reason I bring this up in these small schools is because once football's over, that's when the real gamblers come out. And they got to find value where things aren't pretty. So I just got to get ahead of it now before we lose football, and I'm lost on an island here. So trying to get more into that. And you know what? Maybe once we get more into the college basketball season, we'll talk about that more, maybe give our picks on that. But right now, we got a couple hot Detroit teams, Mike.
Before we get to that, did you watch the college football playoff? Obviously, last night, Ohio State.
Oh, yeah.
Texas. Shout out to our guy, Lucas. They get a dub. Jeremiah Smith had 3 yards that entire game. If you're going to tell me that Ohio State can go out and win a game with that, having not looked the best by any means offensively, they definitely looked defensively. They got to good defensively. They got to Quinn Ewers a little bit, caused some problems there, caused some havoc there. But if you're winning a game with Jeremiah Smith having 3 yards, I just don't see how they're going to lose to Notre Dame, to be honest. They played at their worst of the, I don't want to say worst of the worst because that was probably against Michigan, obviously. But they played not a great game offensively. Defensively had a lot of ups, some downs. But there's no way in hell that this team is going to lose to Notre Dame next week. Pretty much Ohio State was crowned the national championship yesterday night after winning that game. And I see Xavier D brought it up. Worst coach offense I've ever seen. That pitch and that goal line stand at the end of the game was fucking awful.
Dude, what were they doing?
You deserve to lose the game strictly off of how that ended. But go on.
What was that play call, dude? What are you doing? And you know what? I'll say this about Ewers too. And we'll get into the national championship a little bit because I want to get your thoughts on the spread and stuff and the over-under, but Ewers, I talked about this yesterday when we did pick 'em on, on the 8 to 10 show. Make sure you tune into that every day, Monday through Friday.
Absolutely. The boys.
Quinn Ewers just doesn't have that killer instinct. He throws the ball with no purpose. I think he has all the talent, but for example, first, might have been the first or second drive of the game. They get a 4th and 2 at about midfield. He throws the ball at someone's feet, right? Yeah. The pick at the end of the game, that throw had no purpose. I know you're down 2, but try to make something happen there. But yeah, that pitch was that's a terrible play call. And you know what? I'm curious to see what happens with Ewers. Because he did say he was going to enter the NFL draft, but I don't think that's in his best interest. I'm not in a position to give him any advice on what to do with his career. But I think you got to stay one more year, go find a school that you're going to go ball out at. And dude, after he shaved the mullet, the aura was gone.
He lost his aura after the mullet. That's what I was going to say. I don't think he should go in college or go to the NFL. I don't think he's ready. I don't think any situation that he would be put in the NFL would really help him that much. I don't think there would be any success right off rip. But like you said, he's got to go find somewhere else because Texas should have. Honestly, I said it earlier on in the season, even when Quinn Ewers got injured, I wouldn't have put him back in. Arch Manning was balling, and obviously it wasn't the greatest of teams that he played, and he did have, I think, one game that was a little bad. But I would have just rolled with him because he showed in spurts and obviously running the ball, throwing the ball, that he's way better than Quinn Ewers, even right then and there. So I would have never put him back in. maybe that's just me, but either way, Texas is going to say, Quinn, we don't care what you do, but you just can't stay here, buddy. So go find a college, go to the NFL, go be a backup. But yeah, I don't know. I would have stuck with Arch Manning, and obviously that's going to be their plan moving forward. They kind of got here and kind of leveled out against Ohio State, and I think he would kind of be that player that can take them over the edge. Obviously, they kind of need some wide receivers too. Golden, he got injured in the first half, didn't come back. I want to say until it was maybe midway through the third, or maybe it was the start of the third.
I bet on
ankle injury, but I don't know. I think Arch is definitely the future there. They kind of have some things to shore up, and they'll be good moving forward. But Quinn, like you said, Quinn's time's it's done. I would have never switched off Manning to begin with. But
I think that was they got put in a tough spot because Ewers was the quarterback for their turnaround. You know what I mean? Texas football was not down, but didn't live up to expectations for a few years. And then this year they come in, they ball out behind Ewers, and it's I know Arch is the better player, but how do you do that to a kid? Ewers, you did everything you could, and now you lose your job. But next year, dude, Texas is going to be scary with Arch Manning. Arch Manning is legit.
Yes, and sometimes if you're a good team like Texas, Caleb, you got to hurt some feelings if you want to fucking win. If you see you got a better player that's sitting on the bench or whatever, obviously quarterback, it is a little bit tougher, but you make that decision, and those tough decisions eventually will, take you somewhere, that being the national championship. Who knows if Arch Manning played that entire game, how the outcome would have been. I still think Ohio State would have definitely won. They look by far the best team in this college football playoff. But who knows? I think Arch has a bright future with them, and he should have been the pick anyways.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll end it with this. Little early, the spread came out for the national championship. That will be on January 20th. You know what? Don't look at it right now. Do you already know what it is?
Yes.
What do you think? OSU minus 9.5, 45.5 is the total. Are you just gonna find value in OSU and take the 10-point spread, or what are you gonna do there?
Yeah, I would probably do that. I don't know, Riley Leonard, he's had some, some ups and some downs. Certainly he's a decent quarterback, but I just don't think with the way the Ohio State's defensive line's applying pressure, I don't think that Notre Dame's offense is going to be able to get too much going here. I think they'll score maybe 2 touchdowns, but I think Ohio State probably puts up 30 points, even though Notre Dame's defense has been playing really well too. I just think with the way that last game shook up, Ohio State definitely not really their A game or their A-type game, but I think Jeremiah Smith has a huge bounce back game.
Yeah,
and you held that guy to 3 yards. Shout out to the corner. I think number 7 on Texas played unreal that entire game. But I don't see him stacking those two a performance like that back to back. I think he's going to be a major impact, and it's kind of going to be similar to what you've seen in the Oregon game as far as Ohio State's offense go, and really their team in general. I think this is probably the easiest game they've had in the last 3 weeks as far as, Oregon, Texas, Notre Dame. I would rather play Notre Dame at all 3 of those, to be honest.
Yeah, what I was going to say, I don't think Notre Dame's going to be able to change the pace of the game against OSU. OSU just has too much firepower on offense. The Tate, Abuke, or I always butcher his name, the receiver, Smith, Judkins, Henderson, there's just too much there. Notre Dame, I know Michigan did it against OSU, but I mean, I don't know. Am I saying I'm going to take the 9.5? Probably. Booner in the chat saying, give me Notre Dame plus 9.5. I don't know, but
it is a lot of points for a national championship game, and he did make a point. Notre Dame's second-rate defense in the country, they have been playing really well. I just think the Ohio State offense, like I said, they kind of had that slumpy game, not their best effort. Some big plays, chunk plays. Travion Henderson again, 70-yard touchdown. But I don't know. I think Ohio State has offense bounce back for sure.
Yeah, and I'll say this is not because me and Boone talked a little last night. This is not a shot at Booner at all, but because he's obviously a Michigan fan, and it will be a little bit weird if we see a Buckeye on the Lions. Obviously, we probably won't get the opportunity to draft him, but Jack Sawyer, that guy is a dog, and if he is a Lion next year, Yeah, I mean, but you know what? As a Michigan fan, I can understand why. I mean, I could absolutely understand why. But anything else on college football? Because I'm excited to get into these wings, Mike. I'm excited to hear your thoughts
Let's talk to him. Let's talk to him. Six in a row, Caleb. 6 in a row.
6 in a row. Beat the Blackhawks last night, 5-3.
Connor Bedard, who?
I mean, yeah.
Patrick
Well,
Kane's
actually,
team.
let me ask you about him. Bedard.
He's unreal. I'm just trolling. I think he's on like a
unreal.
7-game point streak. It might even be more. I haven't really kept up with it. I don't watch the Blackhawks or really fanboy Connor Bedard like that, but the guy's unreal. He is on a crazy point streak. That roster isn't built to compete by any means, so that was just a troll comment. But
so he's lived up to all the hype.
Yeah, he's unreal. He's unreal. I mean, he kind of had a slower start this year as to last year, but like there's not a lot of roster construction as far as the Blackhawks go. They've kind of added some more pieces this year to kind of like Teuvo Teravainen, Tyler Bertuzzi, kind of a grittier guy. But they've added some pieces around him. But for him to kind of reach his peak, and he is a superstar, he will be one of the best players in the NHL for years to come. But for him to reach that peak, they need to form something around him and, get him some more help. Yeah. You need to get, 1 through 4 scoring. You can't just have first line loaded. I mean, their power play is a little bit buzzing because they have their best 5 players out there, but I mean, not too much for the Blackhawks. They need some help. He needs some help. Give Connor some help.
Going from a young player to a 36-year-old Patrick Kane, 11 points in the past 6 games during this win streak. How important, and you mentioned it too last time we talked about the Wings. It was, he's going to have to be one of the guys that steps up for this Wings team if they want to go on a little run here. How important has Patrick Kane's success been for the Wings?
I think he's not only like one of those players that obviously the skill is there, the skill set, he can really do anything. He can, as far as the power play, he's really pushing it and making them better in that. It dates back to last year. But I think his just like mentality in the locker room, and when you get a guy like that buzzing, I think it kind of provides energy for all the other guys. And like I did bring it up last week, I think he was on a 2-game point streak at the time. So I think it was 3 points total. He had 2 apples and a goal. But I just said the consistency of him and Dylan Larkin is what this team will have to have for them to be a playoff team. And obviously, I think once they edge closer to that, and I mean, they're a game out now, 2 points out of the wild card. So they've made tremendous progress. And what I said last week, you have to have a 10-point swing. I think that really helps your playoff chances. And what do you know? They rattle off 6 in a row, 12-point swing. And now they play San Jose, and who's the other team? God, I don't know who. I don't know. They play San Jose and someone else their next 2 games, both under 5. The Kraken. Sorry, San Jose and the Kraken. Their next 2 games, both teams under 500, could possibly extend this to an 8-game win streak. Both those games being at home too. So I mean, they're just in a tremendous spot. But Patrick Kane, him and Larkin's consistency, like I said last week, is what will power this team to be a playoff team. Yes, they still have to make some moves. It's kind of closer to the deadline, but I think, man, what you're seeing out of Patrick Kane, obviously had a slow start. It really wasn't what you were hoping to after being, showing some electric spurts into last year. But he's on an unreal run right now, man. Him and Lucas Raymond, Dylan Larkin, unreal hockey lately.
And it's funny because I think we could have the same conversation between the Pistons and the Wings because their trajectory has basically been the same. You know what I mean? And this question, we're gonna get into the Pistons a little bit, but for the Wings, for you at least, do you make winning moves at the deadline? Like you're starting to play really well. Are you okay with giving away maybe like some of your young talent to make a winning move to make a little bit of a push here?
I think there are some guys that are untouchable in Grand Rapids. Like you're not touching the 2 goalies. I don't think you're really touching Nate Danielson either. Like there's a few untouchables in there, but the Red Wings have one of the best farm systems in the league. So there is guys that they can pick away at in Grand Rapids. And I think there's definitely some guys that are on the defensive end on this roster, and even some bottom 6 guys, even some guys that have, bounced around on the second line that can be moved around on a little bit. Who knows with, Vladimir Tarasenko, he's on a 2-year deal. It's not too much money. Obviously, he hasn't really hit his spurt here, but, he got traded to Florida, last year, and, had some, quality hockey being played for them. So this situation might not be benefiting him. And another team could definitely think Tarasenko, a guy like him, even though at his age, it might not just be the right spot for him and that he can produce for them. So I'm not saying Tarasenko's gone. He might be definitely in the future, but there are guys that are expendable on the Red Wings roster as well as Grand Rapids. There are some untouchables. Obviously, there's a few untouchables on the Red Wings roster too, but there's a lot of guys that could be moved. And I mean, I talked about it last week, the rumors with Buffalo. We didn't actually know who the player was at the time, but it kind of been announced that it's Dylan Cousins. Those Buffalo scouts have been at the Red Wings game these past 2 weeks. So hopefully a move boils down out of that. Dylan Cousins, guy that can play on the wing. He can play in the center of the ice. Good two-way guy, has kind of lit up the Red Wings in the past too. So, I mean, that would be a guy that I think could certainly step in instantly and make an impact. And, like, we need center icemen. We need defensemen. So, like, you know, there's some moves there that can be made. And I would make moral of the story, I'm making winning moves at the deadline, especially after the way that Steve Yzerman had that press conference a month ago. And he said, you know, I predicted this team could be up. I didn't think they could win the cup, but I think they could be a wild card team. So I think he kind of wants to get back to that word and kind of at least show that. So that's another reason I do think they make a move.
Now, you bring up a guy in Tarasenko. When they made that move for him this offseason, I was with the heavyweights, and I remember when they made the move, two huge wing guys, Spenmo Rax and Nicholas Koloff. Shout out. They were excited about that move because I think the whole offseason everybody was like, Yzerman, like, what are we doing here? We're supposed to be making a push next year. Where's the winning moves? And then they made the move for Tarasenko, and it was like, all right, yes, this is the move we needed. Has he been a winning player this season for the Wings? Or has he been a little bit of a disappointment? Because I haven't heard much about him.
He's definitely been a disappointment. I want to say he's only at like 15 or 16 points thus far through obviously like 40 games. So, yeah, he's been a disappointment. And like I said, I don't know if it's like the misplacements with the lineup. There's just like not a lot of guys maybe like on those second and third lines that kind of benefit. I wouldn't say the second line because second line's buzzing right now. But like they've had him on the third line. They've had him like playing with Marco Kasper. They showed some spurts there. Just really consistency. But Tarasenko, one thing about him is his defense has been pretty terrible throughout his career. And it seems as if like under Todd, he's at least shown some energy as far as that goes. So the points might not be producing just yet. Maybe a change in the lineup helps that out. But as he has been disappointing thus far.
Yeah, that's tough. And Unc, I'm going to put you on the spot a little bit here. Last week, my question was towards Jeff, because obviously you and Jeff have a little thing going on, Red Wings versus Pistons, and you decided to pivot and take a shot at our boy Booner.
Oh my God!
You said he jumped ship, and now you know I don't want to quote you. You said something along the lines of he jumped ship when like things got bad, and now he's not a Wings guy anymore. Does he deserve an apology, or is this like no? Stay on that side.
He doesn't deserve an apology because everything I said right there is true. He jumped ship when stuff got bad, but he's welcome back because we know how valued Booner is to this run that we're gonna have.
Yeah.
So he's welcome back. We got open arms, Booner. Come on, Boone. Come on.
I think
what you said, Boone, is still out there. People know what you said. People know that you jumped ship. It's not just me, Boone. It's everyone.
Yeah. And you know the Booner path is a special thing, and it's going according to plan for the Lions. Do you think it's almost selfish of him not giving a Booner path for the Pistons, Tigers, and Red Wings, and kind of keeping that for the Lions, or because we need a little juice here, Boone? Give us something. Give us something.
I think there's ways Booner can go about it. I don't think it can't be the Booner path because that is strictly for the Lions. There's one path, and that's Lions to the Super Bowl. So I understand too. No, I said I didn't think they were going to make playoffs unless they made a change, Booner. But hey,
apologize or the clip will be posted. I mean, this guy's blackmailing you right now, Mike.
No, now I lost my train of thought. God damn it, Booner.
Unbelievable. He's blackmailing you in the chat here. Yeah,
but no. He should stick to the Booner path. At least keep that to the Lions because that niche is great. But we do need something for the Pistons too, and we definitely need something for the Red Wings. the Tigers, they had a little run. I don't know if Booner had anything going at that point in time, but
Yeah.
I don't know.
Ah,
But hey, we'll talk about your Pistons, Caleb. We got some Pistons people in the chat. Shout out my boy Chris. Shout out Jeff.
the boys.
The boys. Yeah, so the Piston faithful. Kind of talk about them a little bit before the show. Obviously, the Golden State loss. Kind of your thoughts on that. And then I just want to, we talked about it a little bit last week. Do we think a move's going to be made? Obviously, Jay Ivey going down. If they don't make a move, Caleb, do you think like this team can still compete? Obviously, I think they're in the play-in right now. I don't remember what exact spot, but I still think the way JB, this is kind of my thoughts on it. I think the way JB coaches, I think he can coach these guys up and they'll still be in a play-in spot and like they will still play good ball. And I think they could, like I said, at the end of the play-in, but I think if they wanted to go anywhere as far as those play-in games go and the playoffs go, you do need to go out and acquire someone. But just kind of your thoughts on that. Obviously, the game they lost, Cade balled out to the end. You talked about it against the Warriors, but that, and then do they need to make a move, or do you think this team's kind of fine the way it is? Obviously, little weird lineups. Your boy Tobias Harris struggling a little bit. So,
Yeah, well, I'll start with Tobias. He's played a lot better these past couple games, like defensively, and he's getting timely buckets when we need it. But I mean, Boone, unreal. But you're good. But yeah, I do we need to make a move? The reason I say yes is because right now you're kind of just one of those young, exciting teams that are winning games. And you have a guy in Cade Cunningham who took that step, who's showing you like, hey, I'm ready to go. Like I've taken the step. I'm an all-star. I might be an all NBA player this year. I'm averaging 25 and 10. Like I'm giving you 40-point games against Anthony Edwards and winning those games. He's proven that he's an all-star. And losing Jay Ivey kind of lost your co-star in a sense, or your sidekick. So yes, I would go out and make a move. A guy that I have been looking at, I said, last week we had discussions about Jimmy Butler. Out. Jimmy Butler, don't even bring his name up. I do
now
not
you're gonna
want
get
him
Boone really fired up.
I mean, Boone can say whatever he want about Jimmy Butler. I swear to God, if we bring this guy in the locker room, we're toast. I'm just saying, because I mean, there's a common denominator there between him and all those teams that it didn't end well with. So, and it's him. So, won't get into Jimmy Butler a little bit, but Zach LaVine's a guy that we could bring in. Brandon Ingram, his name's been floated. For the Pistons to go out and get. I think Brandon Ingram would be perfect because he's a guy that plays a little bit slower. He plays more methodical like Cade. And then you're going to have guys play with him like Ron Holland, Asar Thompson, Jay Ivey when he comes back. Those guys who play a little bit faster. So you have the best of both worlds there. And, there was a report, I think it was Brian Windhurst that said it. He said the Pistons were looking to kind of pivot away from the initial plan of taking on contracts and more of making winning moves. So that's something I'm excited to look forward to. And shout out Trajan he basically came out and said it. He's like, I didn't think this team was going to be 500 at this point. Now we kind of got to pivot and change everything. And yeah, I think you do have to go make some sort of winning move if you really want to compete. I'm not saying championship this year. Obviously, I'm not a crazy guy, but yeah, definitely go make a winning move. And I think Brandon Ingram is a perfect guy. Trade for LeBron and Bronny, Jeff said. We'll skip past that, I think, because I don't think that's going to happen. But yeah, go make some sort of winning move. And a little bit about the Golden State loss yesterday, Mike, or not yesterday, 2 nights ago, and we talked about this a little bit. And chat, you guys, if you have any input on this, there's like 5 guys in the NBA I see get guarded, and you know what? I know Sean Murphy. We had Sean Murphy on the show yesterday. I know he brought it up a little bit, and I'm glad he did because, dude. I don't see players get guarded like Cade Cunningham does. I mean, there's Anthony Edwards, there's Shea, there's guys like that. They're going to get double teamed, but Cade gets pressed at half court, and he's forced to kind of back down until he can get in his set every single possession. He is getting no room, and it's crazy to me that he's averaging 25. That just shows how good of a player he is because he gets all-star attention from opposing defenses, and that just shows how good of a player he is, man. He is something else. Probably my favorite Detroit athlete, honestly.
I hear. Oh, shoot. And
What do you got going on here, Unc?
I'm sorry.
What's going on here?
You're
You're good.
No, but kind of why do you think that is though? As far as Cade goes, obviously the Jaden Ivey injury, but like, is it not enough playmakers? Is there not enough consistent scoring? Like, obviously, I kind of brought up Tobias Harris, and like you kind of expected him to be a more consistent piece. I mean, he's had some good games, had some bad games, a lot of up and downs, but like it at that point, like you're kind of just saying that like get Cade some help, but like. Some of these moves, you've seen some guys like Malik Beasley, like tremendously stepped up. Yes. But if he, like you said, if Cade's still producing at this type of rate, and shout out to Cade, he's been balling, man. But like, I think there's no way that you go into this trade deadline and at least like don't acquire something to help him out. Like, it doesn't have to be an end all be all player. Maybe it's someone that just kind of like gets you by till next season or whatever it is. But like you need to get another option out there, especially with Jaden Ivey being out, because of your point, Cade can't do it all. It's kind of, I don't want it to like boil back to the end of the beginning of the season. We talked about this. We're like, Cade was like running out of fucking gas. Like he was the only one doing anything. So I don't want them to get to that point again. I don't know. That's just my thought.
Yeah, I mean, somebody said in the chat like you need another ball handler. Like, yeah, like if that, I think I forgot who I was talking with, Lonzo Ball. I mean, that could be a guy that'd be pretty sweet. I'm a big Lonzo Ball guy. I'm a big Ball family guy. Ball in the Family. I used to watch that a lot. That show was awesome. So yeah, give me a guy like Lonzo Ball. Just give me a guy that could create. Honestly, give me a guy that could handle the ball when Cade's not on the floor because losing Ivy. Yeah, Malik Beasley's kind of been that guy a little bit. But yeah, and kind of to your point, like, why is that for Cade Cunningham? I think it's just because he's that good. I think that's why defenses are playing him that way. Yeah, there are other threats on offense for the Pistons now. There's Malik Beasley, Tobias Harris, like I said, has been playing better. Asar Thompson, he could create. He's good off the dribble, so you can't really leave him open. So yeah, Simone Fontecchio, who shot it a little better these past couple games. Yeah. But I just think it's because Cade's that good. I think that's why he's getting played like that. So, I mean, he's been unbelievable. And like I said, probably my favorite Detroit athlete. When we won that lottery, however you say it, I was ecstatic because I love myself some Cade Cunningham. Yeah, and tough loss against the Warriors, but man, whatever. We're still good. Rozier, Vincent said Rozier. Yeah, I mean, if the Heat blow it up, I mean, why not? Why not? Jeff, Marcus Sasser.
Oh, I can't do it. These trolls.
Hey, shout out Marcus Sasser, though.
Hey, yeah, Marcus Sasser. Gritty. No, my boy Chris Lynn in the chat. He has been hyping up. He's been hyping up the Lonzo movement. He's been wanting that for a while now. So I don't know. I wouldn't be against a little Terry Rozier. I think obviously Doughboy Steve says Devin Booner Booker. Booner's guy, Devin Booker. I don't think that's gonna happen. I just with the way the ownership is over there and management, I just don't. I think they'll probably sell Bradley Beal and kind of short up that roster the best they can as far as that goes. Maybe Jimmy Butler goes there. But I don't think Devin Booker's leaving. I think we kind of need to give up on that dream as a Detroit sports fan, unless the Suns just totally blow it up. I could be wrong, but I don't know.
Yeah,
but hey,
real quick, wrong one. Shift God, is Utah selling? If this question is for like Colin Sexton and Lauri Markkanen, yeah. I
said Lauri last year, man. Should have got Lauri.
Or Jordan Clarkson. That's another guy. Yeah, there's those three guys, Colin Sexton, Jordan Clarkson, Lauri. Yes. But Chris, you're right. Ingram makes the most sense, probably. And Chris, shout out. I'm also a big LaMelo Ball guy. I mean, when he's healthy, dude, he's awesome. Like, he's the definition of a point guard. Plays great defense, can shoot it now. Great passer. Love it. Love it. Bring me Lonzo Ball.
Hey, shout out Marco. That's fair, Marco. There's levels to this, so we get that. All right, Caleb, we're moving on to another Detroit team. This is we're kind of gonna let you cook here. So you brought it up a little bit earlier, Bregman. That news. We'll get more into that. That didn't happen. We're a little sad. I was kind of looking forward to this Saturday and talking about it. So you hyped me up for no reason a little bit, Caleb. So I will let you know that. But Tarek Skubal gets the deal done. The 1-year deal, obviously, what was it, like 10.5, was it? I don't know the exact
10.1.
numbers, but just your thoughts on that deal. Should they have just got the extension, obviously more long-term done as of now? Are you okay with that? And kind of what does this mean long-term for Tarik Skubal, for the Tigers casual, I guess you would say? Explain this to them.
Okay, I want to start by saying this because I don't want to be known as like the negative Tigers guy, because I love this team so much, but everything I say, I truly believe. And this kind of starts with, I know every time the Tigers make a move, I always have something negative to say about it because that's how I feel. Because I think some of the moves they make, it's like, what's going on here? And the Skubal move, I made a tweet and I'm like, this is disrespectful to Skubal. I know Scott Boras is his agent. I know this is going to be difficult to get a deal done with him, but you have to give him an offer they can't refuse. Getting to arbitration with this guy is disrespectful to Skubal, and it makes Chris Ilitch look cheap. And I know that's the stigma around him, that he's cheap. And, I don't know how I don't know if there's an argument against that. So for the chat, if you don't, I'm not here to mansplain anything, but if you're not familiar with how like the arbitration works, so basically arbitration, pretty easy. So like the player comes with the number. Let's say you don't agree to terms before arbitration, right? Example, Kyle Tucker. Kyle Tucker with the Cubs just got traded there. Him and the Cubs couldn't agree on an offer. Kyle Tucker comes with a number. I think he came with either 17.5. And then the team comes with the number at 15 million. And then there's an arbitrator. And then the both sides pitch their case. Basically, Kyle Tucker's going to say why the Cubs should pay him a bunch of money, and the Cubs should say why they shouldn't pay Kyle Tucker a bunch of money, which is not good for both sides because that gets rid of chemistry. And then the arbitrator picks a side. That's how they do it. So Skubal 2020 this year, arbitration 10.1. They agreed before arbitration, which is good because Skubal could have argued he could have made $30 million this year, and he is eligible for arbitration next year. And if Skubal has a similar season next year than the Cy Young season he had last year, that arbitration is going to be tough for the Tigers. And typically the teams usually do win the arbitration, but with the Cy Young winner, it's going to be hard to put up much of a fight against a guy like that. And then after that, he's an unrestricted free agent. And I know a lot of talks are saying that Scott Boras is going to wait for free agency to kind of see what's up with Skubal, if he wants to extend with Detroit, or if he wants to go to a different place. If you're the Tigers, you can't wait that long.
That's what I'm saying.
If we wait until him being a free agent, he's a New York Yankee, unfortunately. So because we're not going to pay him, we're not going to offer him as much money. So again, I don't want everything to be negative about the Tigers, but truly, this is very disrespectful to Skubal, and I think it's ridiculous that there hasn't been a long-term deal done. I get it, Scott Boras, whatever. I don't care. You hand him a blank check. You say, what do you want? We'll give it to you. You're the Cy Young winner. You pitched excellent in October. You're the Triple Crown winner. You're the best pitcher in baseball right now. I don't know. That's kind of how I feel about it, but, what am I going to do? What am I going to do?
I'm not going to go too deep into it, but like at that point in time, like you said, he is being cheap. If you aren't going to pay the best player in baseball after the season he just had, and like what he means to this team, just carried your entire pitching staff throughout the playoffs, since the All-Star break and on, really the whole season. The dude was just fucking unreal. If you're not going to pay a player like that, how is anyone in the fan base supposed to have confidence that you're going to pay anyone in free agency? Like you're going to go out and get that guy when the time's right. It might be now being Alex Bregman, but like I'm just saying, if you aren't going to sign Tarik Skubal, the best pitcher in baseball, and you're not going to pay up for that after the proof's in the pudding, you've seen what he can do in the big moments with everything against him. I just don't see how they're going to pay anyone else or like go out and make that move that solidifies them as like that team. And like our division isn't even that great. So like, you could say the Tigers are definitely on the come up as far as the division goes. So like, I don't know, but give us a little update, Caleb. Where's the Alex Bregman news at? Do you think that's still the angle? Do you think the Tigers are still the team? Do you think there's possibly some other guy that's on the up and up and might be taking his spot as far as we go out and acquire that person? What's up with Alex Bregman? Because, like I said, we plan to be celebrating today. We have beers. What are we going to do with all these beers, Caleb?
We had beers. We got to throw the beers out. We'll not throw them out, but we'll put them in the fridge because I guess we have to wait a little bit longer. I'm going to be honest. I don't know. And we were talking about before the show, like I want to be a fly in the wall on these negotiations because it should be this easy. Ready? You are Alex Bregman. I am the Detroit Tigers. Hey, Alex Bregman, here's $30 million for over 7 years or seven years, $30 million a year. You want to come be a Tiger? Good young team with your old manager. Yep. I mean, sign that deal. It should be that easy. No, Should it not be that easy? And I mean, this is the shit I'm talking about, man. Just go get a deal done. Like, what are you waiting for? And we talked about it a little bit last week on the show. Like, if it's because of the years, if it's because of, Bregman wants 6, Scott Harris and Illich want 5. Is that a joke, man? That's
year. The petty shit you can't have happening when you're signing a guy like Alex Bregman. There's a little age concerns to it, but the guy is one of the best third basemen in baseball. And the way the Tigers infield's situating itself, there's going to be some guys bouncing around. So he's a sure end piece in that infield. So, and yeah,
we'll be here next Saturday, right?
Yes, we will.
Bregman is actually, we might not be unless the Lions play on Saturday. But
yes,
I'll say that.
no, we'll still be here.
Yeah. Well, I'll say this: next time we talk on here, Alex Bregman will be a Tiger. I'm calling my shot again because I don't think there's anything holding him back. I don't think there's anything holding him back. Right? Weezy D313 says $30 million. I mean, what would you give him then? Like he's not going to take 20. Like him and Boris are not going to take 20. I would say it's going to be around 27, 28, around there. Like,
I mean, you don't pay anyone. Like, you don't pay anyone on this roster. So, like, I mean, even if you think 30 million is an overpay by a couple million, who gives a shit? Because you don't pay anyone. Like, Cole Keith, makes the most fucking money on this team. Like, it's just a joke, man. I mean, obviously not highly biased, but, he made the most money on that team, on the roster that was in the playoffs. And that should be most of your roster moving forward. Obviously, you got Gleyber Torres now, took over that spot, but no one's really making anything on this team. So I just don't get it.
Yeah, and I mean, you look at all the past teams that have been in the World Series or won the World Series, they're all top 15 in payroll, top 10 in payroll. I mean, the Astros are kind of the outlier in that, even though the last year they were 8th in payroll because they had to pay all their guys, like the Altuve, Bregman, all those guys. But it's just not a winning formula, just waiting on player progression and waiting on the farm system. It's fun, but it's not a winning formula. And again, I love the Tigers, man, but you asked me this question last week. Do I think they repeat success kind of with what they're rocking with right now? Let's say no Bregman. Let's say no Santander. Let's say no Roki Sasaki.
Worst case
scenario. That is worst case scenario. I do think they leave this offseason with someone. But I mean, right now, you have good young players, but I don't know. I don't think you win 86 games again. If no Bregman means what? No, I mean, Torque.
I had that one starred for so long. I knew you'd like that one.
No, I mean, Torque is. Am I saying he's going to get cut? No, but he's not our first baseman. Unfortunately, Weezy D313. He's not going to be our first baseman. Cole Keith is our first baseman now. So I hate to burst your bubble, but we're not going to see 8 home runs out of Spencer Torkelson this year. I'm sorry, it's just not going to happen.
That was just such a from left field comment. If no Alex Bregman means we get to see more Spencer Torkelson, then it's a W.
I've never heard someone say that ever, ever. But
that's funny shit.
But talking about the Tigers kind of drives me up a wall a little bit until something's happening. It's because it's frustrating to watch. because you have all the tools to get things done, and you have an owner that doesn't want to get it done. So we'll get into the NFL playoffs a little bit here. We got a fun wild card weekend starting today, and I'll say this: we do have a bracket challenge, crunch time bracket challenge.
Hell yeah!
I don't have the link right now, Jeff or Boone. If you guys have the link, if you could put it in the chat, you just join. And if you win, we'll get you selling off the shop. So.
Something of your choice. Hey, you got look. Show them the hoodie, Caleb. Show them the hoodie.
FTP.
It's on the shop. You win the bracket challenge, you can get that beautiful hoodie right there. Get the NFC North or NFC champion hoodie. There's so much on there. You got to check it out. But Caleb, like you said, Tigers drive you up a wall, but what doesn't drive me up the wall is wild card weekend. And we have a bet. We have a bet for the people. Me and Caleb got in the lab, so we did a little something. So we'll get to that, but any predictions, early insight, anything you want to talk about in these games? I mean, as far as the games go today, you got the Steelers, Ravens are 9.5-point favorites on the Steelers. And then the Chargers are -3 against the Texans. Personally, for these games today, I think the Chargers win it. I think that game will be close, kind of more of a shootout. I think Nico Collins is going to have a game with the way their offense is beat up. I don't know how much impact Joe Mixon, especially him struggling in the run game, how much he's going to have against the Chargers defense that's kind of came alive. I think Jim Harbaugh will kind of limit him as most possible, and he'll try and let CJ Stroud throw the ball and, get him pressured. So as far as that game goes, I'm taking the Chargers -3. I think the Chargers win that game. And then the Ravens Steelers, God damn it, we see this matchup so much. I feel like, even though there are some question marks, I guess you could say, with the Ravens and playoff football, Lamar Jackson playoff football, I think they get this one done. I mean, the Steelers have been struggling. Russ, my guy, not been himself.
Russie.
Yeah, Russie, yeah. So, I mean, the spread, like I said, is 9.5. I think that's a bit much. I don't think the Ravens cover that. I don't know. I still think it's a little bit closer. Probably props to the Steelers defense on that. But, yeah, I think the Steelers end up covering the points. I'll take the Chargers with the points. Ravens and Chargers are winning, though.
Yeah, I think both the favorites are going to win and cover. I just don't see the Steelers keeping up with the Ravens offensively. Like, I know Pittsburgh's defense played well. Ravens defense not good, but the Steelers can't. Their offense is so bad right now, and the chemistry is so off between Russell Wilson and George Pickens, where it's like even with a bad secondary, you're not going to get anything done. So, I mean, I think the Ravens cover. I picked that yesterday and pick them. I think it could be like a 17-point game. 10-point spread. Chargers, the -3 scares me a little bit, the 3-point spread, because this should be like a 7-point spread. Like the Texans, they did not live up to expectations this year. They're missing Tank Dell. They're missing Stephon Diggs. And, the Chargers are hitting their stride. And, what I'll say this about a guy in Ladd McConkey. And, this is a conversation we had a little bit, at least, I did with Boone and Lukas, because I had an argument with my friends about, we play a dynasty football league, right? Like dynasty, you keep the same team every year. And I raised the question, who is more valuable, Ladd McConkey or Malik Neighbors? And dude, do I think Malik Neighbors overall is a better receiver? Yes. Yeah. But Ladd McConkey has a ceiling of Amon-Ra St. Brown. He has the opportunity and skill to have an 115 catch season, a 1,300-yard season with 10 touchdowns. He does. He absolutely does. Yeah. He's Justin Herbert's favorite target. He has all the talent in the world. The offense, they put him in good positions to win, matchups to win. He's great in the open field. He could play down the sideline. I think he's a great receiver. That's a little sneak peek also to our little parlay we made. But you know what? I see people in the chat, someone who said it, about to be an upset or two, but who? I'll give I'll give an upset. I'll put you on the spot here, because I have an upset that I think is a very real possibility. I think the Washington Commanders can go out and beat the Bucs. It's going to be a high scoring game. There's going to be a lot of points scored in that game. I don't know the over under total right now, but I do. Jane Daniels, I know, rookie quarterback. I think people are afraid to take him, but dude, he's legit. And that Bucs defense is brutal. So, I mean, it's going to be a high-scoring game, and I think – and Baker Mayfield's a dog. I love Baker Mayfield, but I really do think the Washington Commanders can win that game on the road with the rookie quarterback. And Jaden Daniels really put a stamp on things here. Like, yeah, I'm fucking here. I'm the man. Like, this isn't a joke. There's going to be no sophomore slump or whatever coming next year. Like, I'm the real deal.
If I had to pick one underdog, I mean, it's not much. I think it's only like 3.5. It might even go or 3 or 2.5. But the Rams are beating the Vikings. That is my stamp on it. Matthew Stafford. Yeah, it's just going to happen. It's going to be the best quarterback. It's going to be a game, going back and forth, and the best quarterback's going to win it, and that's going to be Matthew Stafford. Puka Nacua is going to go crazy. Kyron Williams, the whole cast, and their defense has showed up a little bit, and they have. I seen Coach McVay or the Rams rather posted something in their locker room of Dan Campbell. Yeah. You seen that? The Dan Campbell saying we'll see you in 2 weeks to the Vikings. So those guys are going to be fired up too. A little extra incentive on that, but I like the Rams. I like Matthew Stafford. These type of moments. Yeah,
I mean but the only thing for the Rams is because I agree. I will be taking Rams money line tomorrow. Absolutely, I will. But they don't get that home field because of the fires in California. Obviously, that's terrible what's going on there. But they're playing in Arizona. That's the only thing. But I mean,
to be honest, they don't even have fans to begin with.
You know what? You're right.
Like half the stadium's filled with people that are wearing casual clothes, and then the other one's like the other half's the other team. So like I don't know, maybe. It's just like it's like a neutral site game, so I mean they're probably used to it by now, like having no fucking fans and shit. So
yeah, I mean basically, I mean back like to the game, it's like you have an experienced playoff coach and Sean McVay against Sam Darnold. So I like the Rams there.
Hey, KOC Sean McVay, the offense is just going to be hitting in that game. Justin Jefferson, obviously the Vikings. They might have the Lions hangover. I seen someone Xavier brought it up in the chat, but those two, Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison, being really shut down last game. Jordan Addison had 1 catch, Justin Jefferson 50 yards, which is like unheard of for a guy like him. They're going to have big games. The offense will be there. It's going to be a lot of back and forth. I don't think either team, I don't even think either team wins this game by more than a touchdown. So, like, I think no matter what, it will probably be, 3-7 swing, maybe even less, but. It's
going to be a great game. And let me ask you this. What's the matchup you want for the Lions next week? And what's the one you're like, I do not want to play this team, like in the divisional round?
To be honest, I don't care. The Lions will beat any team. It doesn't matter. Let it boil out. The Lions are built for this. And the fact that we're in the den leading up to the Super Bowl, I don't give a shit. You could put anyone they want in forward field. Those guys are going to be ready. I don't care. Let it boil down. I'm not scared of anyone as far as the Lions facing anyone in the playoffs. I think obviously the nerves will get there in the NFC Championship game and the Super Bowl and whatnot, facing the Chiefs or whoever it is out of the AFC. But as far as the NFC goes, no team's going to match up with the Lions in the den. I don't give a shit. You can put anyone in there. Philly, it doesn't matter who you end up playing along the line. You're coming to the den, you're taking a loss. You're packing your shit and you're going.
Yeah, I agree. But I do stand by one thing, and this kind of goes for Minnesota and Green Bay. It's hard to beat a good team twice, and it's even tougher to beat a good team 3 times. So, I mean, the divisional games, I don't really want to play them again. But like you said, I don't really care. This is the best team in the NFL. Whoever comes in here, I think we win by a good amount. The spread's going to be like a touchdown spread no matter who we play. A team that I want to see the most is probably the Commanders. Aaron Glenn against a rookie quarterback, he's going to eat him alive. With his like creative blitzes and everything, he's going to have Jane Daniels seeing ghosts. And I said this yesterday. Like, I think that's the matchup we get. I think that we get the Commanders next week. But yeah, fun day of football. Again, make sure to go in that bracket and fill out a bracket. Like we said, if you win, you win some merch. So
yeah, you can get a hat like this. Hey, great hat.
Sweet hat.
Great hat.
And you know what? You guys want to make some money today? Chat, do you want to make some money today? Huh? Because me and Mike put together a surgical 4-leg parlay for you guys. It's about, I think we got at least Yeah, we got 2 props from each game, right?
Yes, we have
It's a
2 from the Chargers and Texans, and then 2 from the Ravens and Steelers. So, hey, get you through the whole day, because the first one is going to be hit in the first quarter. So then you're just going to be looking forward to the Steelers game. So it's going to get you through the whole day. We're going to get you some money. So
4-leg parlay for you guys here. And
oh, wait.
it's about plus 900.
Boom.
Derrick Henry over 99. Yeah, I'll go through my 2 picks real quick. Derrick Henry over 99.5 rushing yards. He's hit that 3 out of the last 5 games. He averages about 113 per game this season. And you think in the playoffs, he's not going to touch the ball 30 times. This guy's getting over 100 yards. In week 16 against the Steelers, he had 162 rushing yards. So what's going to be the difference here, especially in a playoff setting where they're going to feed the best running back in football or one of the best running backs in football? And my other one was Ladd McConkey over 75.5 receiving yards. He's becoming a star in the NFL. Justin Herbert's favorite target. He's hit that line 4 out of the last 5 games. He's averaging, I think, 71 on the season. But these past couple games, it's been like 94, 85, 100. And I do like a Ladd McConkey touchdown, too. So those are my 2 picks. And what were you had Nico and Mark Andrews?
Yes. I did take Nico in his yards. Nico, the Texans offense is so banged up. Obviously, you've seen it last week. I think the first drive before they took Nico Collins out, obviously the game really didn't mean shit, but I mean, he had like 6 catches on the first drive. And when you're moving into a playoff game like this, CJ Stroud is going to hit his guy. He's going to go. You have Dalton Schultz, you have John Mechie, not really too secure of options as far as his wide receivers go. And like I said, I think this game's going to be a little bit of back and forth. So I think he's going to hit his guy. 6.5 catches. You get for plus odds too. So it might even went up. Who knows? But I just think that is a lock. I think Nico Collins, Stroud, their connection's been there all season. In a moment like this, when their backs are going to be against the wall in a playoff game, he's going to hit his guy, and he's going to feed him the ball. And then my other one was Mark Andrews, 4 receptions. Obviously, we seen what happened last week with the Ravens. Zay Flowers goes down. He's out. You have Rashad Bateman, you have Isaiah Likely. There's just not too many sure things as far as the pass game goes right there. And Mark Andrews has been a sure thing throughout Lamar Jackson's entire career. So in a playoff game like this, where I expect Derrick Henry to be the bulk load of that offense, I still think you are going to need to move the ball through the air a little bit. And Mark Andrews is going to be that number 1 option. So for getting him at 4 catches, I just think that's great. It's great odds. Even money for 4 catches for Mark Andrews is crazy. So I'll take it.
You want to talk, throw that up again. So if the people you want to tell, you want to screenshot this, and tail us, guys, this is plus 900. Just think about it. You need 4 catches out of a Mark Andrews, on a Ravens team without their number 1 receiver. You need 100 yards out of the best running back in football. You need 7 catches out of Nico Collins, who's really CJ Stroud's only option there, besides like Dalton Schultz. And then Ladd McConkey, a rising star in the NFL, 80 yards in the play, or 75.5 yards in the playoffs. If you guys want to tail us, we obviously gamble responsibly, but we really like that play. So, Unc, anything else? We'll get a little mailbag here for the last 2 minutes.
Yes. Drop your questions if you have anything, obviously. Hope you guys have a great Saturday, wildcard weekend. Watch some football. Stay inside. It's fucking snowy as shit outside. Who knows how the roads are? But like I said, thanks for joining us on this Saturday. Drop the questions.
Yes, sir. Hey, you know what, Unc? Let me ask you this real quick before we end. Snow's coming. Wintertime. Are you a snowblower guy, or are you shoveling the driveway?
No, my driveway isn't too big, and we usually have, some cars in there, so it's only a single, so we're cars behind each other. So not really too much shoveling of the driveway actually happens.
Yes. Well, but what about you?
No, it's usually packed. And then, the way this winter has gone, it's probably fucking melted already. So it really hasn't been snowblower needed. But I do have the shovel out to, you got to get the pathway to the door, stuff like that, the sidewalks. But the driveway really hasn't been a problem this year.
Hey, love to hear it. But we got a question here from Xavier D. Mailbag. Can the Wings do it with this goaltending?
I think it's an interesting situation because, it seems like every other week, one of these goalies is a little bit shaken up, and no matter if it's Lyon or Talbot. But if those two guys are healthy, I think that they will probably roll with those two guys because Cam Talbot's been good. Alex Lyon, when he's healthy, he is a very good goaltender. I don't think you see Ville Husso anytime soon, even though he's shown some spurts in Grand Rapids. But I think they can make the playoffs. I think this goaltending duo that they're rolling with right now is doable. I don't know how they would do in a 7-game series. We'll kind of wait and see on how that boils out. But I think they can get to the playoffs with this goaltending, Xavier.
Got one right here from Doc. Shout out, Doc. What is the first word you think of when you hear the name Jason Whitlock? I'll let you take this one.
Doc, what the fuck, man? He's trying to making us answer the difficult questions. That's right up Doc's
that video.
That's all Doc does. He does it for his living.
That video.
I don't even know, man. That guy's Twitter account has been insane. He's like ranting every other day. I don't even follow him, but it just comes up on the feed. So,
dude, that video was so funny. He's like about the Joy Taylor stuff. He's like, I know what I'm capable of. It's like, dude, what are you talking about, man? Dude, it's so funny, man. Now that stuff is Doc, fucking crazy.
Doc, you're still here. What's the first word that comes to your mind, Doc?
Yeah, I mean, you put us on the spot. I want to hear yours. Bart. I mean, yeah, all that Joy Taylor stuff is weird, and like he said troll. All right, I guess that's a good one. All right, I think that's a good place to end it here, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. Again, we're going to be live every Saturday, 10 to 11. Make sure to buy your merch. Make sure to join the bracket. For the playoffs, you have to get your picks in before the first game. Obviously, the other boys, Lukas, Boone, and Jeff, they're live every day, Monday through Friday, 8 to 10. So tune into that big week next week for the Detroit Lions divisional playoff round. So make sure you tune in. We'll have content.
And Alex Bregman's coming home. So next time we'll talk. Alex Bregman will be a Detroit Tiger. Hopefully. No sources again, just coming up from right here. But thank you so much for watching. And hey, we'll see you next week.